Good evening, students. Welcome to the session that is Fun with NCRT. So, myself, Rupesh Mandal. So, I'll be taking a new topic in today's lecture series in physics. So, without any further delay, let's get started. So, the topic that we are going to discuss in today's lecture is electricity. So I hope all of us we are already aware like what exactly is the electricity and how exactly we are using the electricity in our day-to-day life. And one thing that I can say that we are very much bound, or what we can say, we are so much dependent with the electricity that like most of our day-to-day activity are actually is done using the electricity, starting from waking up in the morning. Okay, we initially check our emails or WhatsApp messages. So for that we need to have a sufficient power backup in our smartphone or mobile phone. Then we used to listen to radios or whatever music system we have. Then we usually wash our clothes in washing machines. uh, we usually make breakfast by the use of microwave or toaster or those kind of things. Then nowadays, vehicles are also available which are actually coming with electricity, which are actually running with electric power, like electric scooter, electric vehicle, EV vehicle. Okay. Then we have all other like components which are actually dependent on the electricity. So we know like, and we are using the electricity in our lot of activities that we are actually doing. But how this electricity has came into this wide range of application, how we are using those appliances with the electricity. So we will be trying to understand very few concepts about, not the entire thing, at least few concepts about the electricity. So without any delay, let's see what are the things we have in our agenda. So in order to understand the electricity in in details, like first of all, we need to understand few basic terms. The first thing, in order to understand the electricity, we need to understand the charge. So the backbone of the electricity is basically the charge. So let us try to see what is a charge. So charge is the inherent property of metal that feels force of attraction or repulsion due to excess or deficiency of electrons. So in chemistry terms of like point of view, we know that the metals or all those elements, the things, we have certain electrons, isn't it? So those components have electrons in them, and charge is basically one kind of property that metal have, and that metal is actually feeling some sort of force. Either it is a force of attraction or maybe force of repulsion, and that may cause because of excess or deficiency of electrons. So if there is a deficiency of electrons, okay, so there also we will be feeling a kind of force, either attraction or repulsion, but at least we will feel some force if there is a deficiency of electrons, or if there is an excess number of electrons available in that object, then also we will be feeling certain force. Okay. And when we talk about the charges, so there are basically two types of charge we have. One is positive charge and one is negative charge. And the SI unit of the charge is being denoted by C, and the SI unit is coulombs. Okay. And it is basically measured with a device named electroscope. The diagram that is shown here in this slide, it is basically an sketch of a electroscope. So whatever charge body we have, suppose a metal strip which is actually connected, it is having some charge. So if we are touching that charge body on that brass disc or that sort of metal disc, so we will be having some sort of leaf kind of material over here. Here it is a gold leaf. Okay, so whenever we are placing any sort of charge particle over here, charge component, okay, so this metal leaf will try to like move. Either it will move towards the up, so this is hanging downwards, so it will start moving in that direction. So by the detection that if anything is moving, if the gold leaf is moving, simply by touching this brass disc with a charge component, we can come to a conclusion whether the body, the component that we are actually measuring, whether it is having a charge or not. So that is the work of the electroscope. Next thing, like we will be doing one activity, one experiment to check the charge. Fine. So for that we need to have certain things. So the things that we need to have is a woolen cloth, a plastic rod or a plastic material that we can, anything that we can have, some small pieces of paper, some transparent container, or if we don't have a transparent container, then also it will work. And like what basically we need to do, we need to have some pieces of paper like cut in a very small pieces, and we need to keep it in some space, and we need to rub that particular plastic rod or whatever plastic material we have, we need to rub so that we like it will attain some charge, and because of that charge, the whatever small pieces of paper we will be having, it is basically being like getting attracted. So just I will what I will do, I will make the arrangement, and you can also see how exactly I'm doing this experiment. So just a second, I'm just making the arrangement. Okay, for the experiment we require certain things, as I have mentioned that we will be needing one woolen cloth like this. Then we will be needing some small pieces of paper. We can also keep this paper inside the glass container, but it is fine if we are keeping on just on the table. And we require some sort of plastic rod. We can use comb. And here in this demonstration purpose, in order to make it short, I am just using this sort of plastic like string, that basically this sort of things we use for tying up the parcel or the shipping consignment. So what I will do, I will keep this woolen material over here on the, like, just here on the table, like hands of the chair, and I will keep the this small paper sprinkled over the table. And first of all, I want you people to just have a look in this particular um, thing. If I am just keeping this plastic strip near this sort of um, paper, small pieces of paper. Okay, so let's see what happens. So there is no movement of papers, as we can see. Okay, nothing is actually moving, so it is, they are just keeping like that only. There is no movement or there is no change at all in the position of the paper. Okay, now what we will do, we will rub this metal this plastic strip on this sort of woolen material. Okay, so we need to rub this particular plastic strip in such a way that it should have some sort of friction, good amount of friction. Okay, so I'm just rubbing with some little amount of force. You can also do it. So it's fine if we are rubbing in one side, it is, it will also work. If we don't have a woolen material or woolen cloth, what we can do, we can rub this plastic material into our hairs as well. So hair is also having some sort of charge. Okay, so just we need to do some sort of proper friction. Have you seen the papers are actually trying to move? See, the papers are actually getting attracted, and one paper it got stuck also. Okay, so similar thing we will do it once again. See, the papers are actually getting attracted toward this one. Okay, so it depends upon how much force we are applying, how much friction the material is having. So based on the friction, it will attain some charge, and because of the charge only, the materials are actually getting attracted. Okay, so there is a science behind that one that I will explain after this demonstration, and we will come to an understanding why this is actually happening. Okay, so this is the last time I'm just showing you. So see, this paper, it was attracting. Okay, so this is how we can check the charges. Okay, so what was actually happening, we will try to know, like we will try to understand what is actually happening over there, like when we were actually rubbing that one. Okay, so initially what happens, so this sort of materials, okay, they are actually having like neutral charges. So the materials are having positive charges, the materials are having negative charges. Okay, so there is no problem at all there. So when we try to rub this sort of plastic material onto woolen cloth, especially the woolen cloth, okay, so what happens due to friction, the woolen cloth becomes positively charged. The more positive electrons are actually accumulated on the, like on one surface of your woolen cloth, and your plastic pipe is actually acquired, or it actually usually have the negative electrons accumulated on the surface of your plastic pipe or plastic rod. Okay, and because of the accumulation of this negative, like all the negative electrons on the surface of your plastic pipe, what happens, this material try to attract the neutral particle. So in our experiment what happened, so initially our woolen material have neutral charge, our plastic strip has a neutral charge, and the piece of paper are also the plus like neutral charge. Now when I start rubbing the like plastic strip, so the woolen cloth got positively charged, the plastic strip got negatively charged, all the negative electrons are getting accumulated over there. Okay, and as the negative electrons are getting accumulated over there, it tries to attract the objects. So we kept those loosely things, those uh, pieces of paper. Okay, so those were neutral thing. So when we try to keep or place the plastic strip over the like neutral small pieces of paper, so it tries to attract. So that's why we are having a kind of like magnetic behavior that is actually acquired by your plastic strip. Although it is not a metallic object, neither it is a magnetic object, but because of the accumulation of negative charge, it acquires the property that it can also attract something. Okay, so this is the basic principal phenomena we actually have when that we actually talk about the static charge. So we usually feel that kind of scenario, like when we are wearing a woolen cloth, and after a long period of time, an hour of time, we if we open that woolen cloth, okay, so we feel some sort of sensation in our like hairs on our body. Okay, it feels like we are having some sort of goosebumps, or those sort of phenomena actually take place. That is all because of the static charge. Okay, I hope this thing is clear. Let's move to the next topic. So we will see like what exactly is the electric current. So electric current is basically the flow of electrons through a conductor. So as we have seen that electrons are there, electrons are having some sort of like property that it can be there in the object. Okay, but if we can say that there is a flow of electron through a conductor, we can say there is a electric current available. The device which causes the flow of electron in through a conductor is called a cell. So on the circuit diagram we can see here on the right hand side, so there is a cell, okay, which makes it possible the flow of electron. So if we are just keeping the wires connected, can we say it is a flow of electron? No, because we don't have a battery or a cell connected over there. So whatever electrons will be there in that like metal wire, copper wire or anything, it will be like same as it is, because there is no driving force or driving activity or initiator kind of thing is actually there. But once we place a battery, a cell, then the electrons are actually start flowing. And if we have some sort of electronic or electrical device connected over there like bulb or motor, okay, so those appliances will start their operation like glowing or rotating or something like that. Okay, so this is about the electric current. And one more important concept that we need to understand, that electrons always flow from negative terminal to the positive terminal. Okay, so if we look at the diagram over here, this is a cell, this is the positive terminal and this is the negative terminal. So what happens, electrons always flow from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. So that means from where the electrons will flow, it will flow in this direction like this. Okay, so it will follow this sort of like path or circuit. Always it is flowing, electrons are flowing from the negative terminal of the battery toward the positive terminal of the cell. And electric current flows from the positive terminal of the cell to the negative terminal. If we say electrons are flowing from this direction, so electric current will be flowing from this direction. Okay, so this is called as the conventional current, as we have discussed over here. Okay, so I will show you. Okay, so let's see what is there in the next slide. So we will have certain like expression in the electric current kind of concept. So basically electric current is been expressed, or it has been defined as the rate of flow of electric charge through a conductor. So it is denoted by I. Okay, and it is basically given by the formula as Q by T. So it is basically the electric charge divided by the time. So rate of flow of charge per unit time is called your electric current, I, and it is basically a scalar quantity. The SI unit of current is coulombs per second. Okay, that is SI unit of charge is coulombs. Okay, and it is basically coulombs per second. So finally it is coming as amperes, or either we can say it is a coulombs, SI unit is coulombs per second or amperes. So it is denoted by capital A, and it basically occurs, it flows, electric current is flows as a result of the difference of potential across the conductor. Okay, and that is the next thing that we will be trying to understand, what is basically the potential difference or the difference in potential. So because there is a difference in the potential energy or potential thing of a conductor, and because of that difference that has been created, the electrons are actually moving. Okay, so let's see. So the next thing that we will be trying to understand about the electric potential difference. So in our physics, we know like what is a potential energy and a kinetic energy. We know that whenever the potential energy, the other term if we try to remember for the potential energy is the stored energy of in an object. But when we implement or when we try to apply some force on when we move that particular object from its stationary position, it acquires the kinetic energy. Okay, so here also the potential, that concept is similar, the potential energy. Okay, the actual definition of potential energy, it is the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge from one point to another point in an electric field. Okay, so right now I'm not going into the explanation of this definition. I will show you some diagrammatic representation through which we can easily understand what exactly is actually happening. Okay, so let's see this diagram first. So when we say we have two containers or two beakers that has been connected through a common inlet or common pipe, and in both the containers we have same level of water. Now if we have same level of water, what is our conclusion? What can we say? Like, is there any sort of water that will be flowing from from one container to another container? Is it like that? I hope it is not, because in both the container the levels are same. So there is no movement of water from one container to another container. Now, if I ask, like, I want to move some water, okay, I want to have a movement of water from like any one container to the another container. Let's say from container A to container B. I want to have the movement of water. So what can we do? Either we need to raise the level of container A, that what we can do. Okay, like we need to keep container A at higher level, higher altitude as compared to container B. Or what we can do, we need to add some more water on container A. Okay, we need to increase the volume of water at container A. Then we can observe what is actually happening. So if we fill container A, okay, and the water level at container A is more as compared to water level at B. Now what will happen? The water from container A will start moving toward the container B. Why? Because there is a acting force, or we can say the pressure on this container A is more as compared to the container B. So because of this gravitational force, we can say, okay, so this water will try to settle. If this particular tap is closed, so definitely the water will not be able to move. But if this tap is kept open, okay, so this water will try to flow, it will try to reach this container, and both the container will try to attain the same water level. Okay, so what's basically I am trying to say here, if the objects are at stationary, it is having some potential energy. Okay, so if the tap is closed, it is, we can say, of course it is having some sort of force in it, but we are restricting that force and it is having some sort of potential energy. But when we lose or open this tap, that potential energy will will not be same as it is as a potential energy. The potential energy will convert it into the kinetic energy and it will start moving. Okay, similarly, when we talk about the electric circuit, okay, in the cell we are having potential energy stored. We are having negative electron and we are having positive electron, positive terminal and the negative terminal. Okay, so the positive terminal, they are having high potential, and the negative terminal, they are having low potential. So the electrons, they actually try to move from high potential zone to the from low potential zone to the high potential zone. and because of that only the electrons are actually start moving. The flow of electrons take place. Okay, they both try to achieve the same level. Okay, so on the positive side, the potential is very high, the pressure is more, fine. But on the negative side, the potential is very low. So what the electrons will do, the electrons at the negative potential, what they will do, they will actually feeling some sort of force, and that force is actually driving those electrons to flow whatever circuit they found. If it is a like copper wire, aluminum wire, any sort of metallic component, if it forms a circuit, it usually move in that circuit electrons. So electrons from this negative terminal will start flowing toward the positive terminal, and this is how basically from a battery or from a cell we are having the flow of electron. The picture on the right hand side, you can see it is the negative like the electrons on the negative terminal, it is feeling some sort of force like this. So electrons will flow like this from the negative electron to the from the negative terminal to the positive terminal, and because of this force there is a concept that we can say it causes a difference in the potential. This part is low potential, this is called high potential, and because of the difference between the potential we are having the potential difference. High potential difference, the longer the electrons will flow. For example, if we are taking a small piece of battery, 2 volt, suppose 2 volt, okay, so 2 volt or 3 volt or 3.3 volt specifically, so it is having a potential difference of 3.3 volt. The potential difference is being like represented with the sign called volt. Okay, so a small battery is having a potential difference or a voltage of, we can say, 3.3 volt. You take a bigger size battery which may be around like 20 volt or something like that. In that it is having higher potential difference. Okay, so higher potential difference means if we connect the same component, suppose a small bulb we are actually connecting. So with a 3.3 volt like battery cell, suppose it lasts for 2 hours. So with 30 volt battery or 30 volt cell, okay, it may last for 20 hours. I can say like that. Okay, so the difference, the higher the like the potential difference is, the longer the like circuit will keep on working, and this potential like this terminals need to be completed with a like complete circuit. So if the circuit is not at all complete, the electrons will rest inside the cell. If the circuit is getting connected and if we have some usage like connection of some sort of bulb or some sort of electric appliances, then only those like potential difference are actually getting depleted. Okay, so this is how basically the electrons are actually moving, and because of the flow of electrons we are feeling some sort of difference in the potential, and because of the like difference in the potential we are actually getting the electricity. So this is the very basic concept of about the electricity. So once again I am just coming to the definition of the potential difference. It is the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge from one point to another. Okay, so how the electrons are moving? Electrons are moving from the negative direction, negative terminal of the battery toward the positive terminal of the battery. So the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge. Okay, so like whenever a electron is actually moving from one point to the another point, so that particular charge, like whatever the amount of work done we have invested, or the amount or like it has used in order to bring the movement, or bring that particular like positive charge to move from one position to another position, is basically inside an electric field is basically called as your potential difference. Okay, this is also a scalar quantity. The SI unit is joules per coulombs, or specifically volts. It is represented with volt. It is also responsible for the flow of current in the conductor. Like whenever we are having a complete circuit, then only the flow of electron will take place. If the circuit is not complete, the flow of electron or whatever the electric current is not going to happen. And it is measured with a device called as voltmeter. Now let us do one more activity. So in this activity, what we can do, either we can use a small motor, preferably a DC motor, okay, or what we can use a bulb, like a bulb that is coming with a torch, okay. So we will try to connect a battery to the motor, or we will try to connect the battery to a bulb and see what is actually happening and how these things are actually how the electricity will actually flow. Okay, so I will just complete my setup and show you. Okay, the things that we can use here in this particular experiment, we can use this sort of small DC motor. Okay, we can use a cell, or if we are having a battery holder, then also it is fine. First of all, I will show this uh, like battery directly by connecting the terminal of the electric motor. Then I will show with the other way around. So what we need to do, we need to take like any one terminal of the battery connected with a wire. Okay, before that, what I will do in order to make like see this one clearly, okay, I will connect this one, like whether at all this motor will rotate or not, okay, for 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 the understanding or for the observation purpose. Okay, so okay, so I have done this arrangement. So what we will do, we will take, this is the negative terminal and this is the positive terminal. So I will connect one wire, one one portion of the wire with the negative terminal, and try to connect the other portion with positive terminal, and let's see what happens. So it was moving, right? So whenever the circuit is actually complete, we should have a switch over here, but I am not having that switch, so I am just seeing by just connecting it with the positive and the negative terminal directly of the battery. So whenever the circuit is complete, whenever we are touching the terminals properly, and if there is a no break in the circuit, so the motor start moving. I will connect this thing with the battery holder, because battery holder is just coming with like button over here. So I will join this properly. We need to make sure that whenever we are connecting these wires, uh, both the wires should not, like all four wires or the terminal should not connect with each other. So we need to keep it separate. Okay, so there should be some sort of, oh, it actually came out. Okay, so I have done with the connection of the terminal, and we have a switch over here. Okay, so I will switch on, it moves. Okay, let me show you the switch. This is the switch. So this is the experiment we have done, and let's try to see what is actually happening. Yes, so basically this sort of setup we had a battery, or we have like a series of batteries. Okay, so those positive and the negative terminals should be connected with the wires, and in between that we had a switch. So whenever these switches are like whenever we have this circuit complete, and whenever we are switching on that particular circuit, okay, so finally the electrons are actually start moving, and because of the flow of electron, the electric current, conventional electric current start flowing. And whatever devices are actually, or appliances are actually connected with this electrical like this sort of circuit, it starts their operation. If it is a bulb, like bulb, it basically converts the electric energy into the light energy. If it is a motor, then electric energy will be converted into the mechanical energy, in which we will observe some sort of rotation, and so on, like whatever devices we are actually using. So this is how the entire electric flow, the flow of electron, the potential difference is actually working, the driving factor. Like there is a force, and because of that force, there is a like push and pull of electrons inside that circuit, and because of those basic electrons are actually moving in the circuit, we are getting this electricity. So these are very small things, but these are very amazing also, because uh, we are using these things in our day-to-day life, but we don't know the basic uh, explanation why we are getting this sort of electricity. And the experiment that I have shown just now, electric motor, it also comes with a lot of like research and lot of things, because how exactly the motor is actually rotating. So inside the motor we have another like good concept that we can say. There is a sort of electromagnetic concept. Then we have a permanent magnet inside the motor. So when we apply electricity to the motor, so the motor shaft will start rotating. And if we use the opposite way, if we are using, suppose if we are rotating the motor with some mechanical energy, suppose with our hand, okay, and we connect the terminals of the motor to a some sort of electric appliance, suppose a bulb. So we can observe that at some point of time it will it will start glowing. Why? Because why exactly the opposite is also possible? Because inside the motor we have magnets, and magnets, because of the magnets there is some sort of push and pull in the in the circuit, and that push and pull, that sort of force is also experienced by the electron, and that basically agitates the electron inside the circuit. And if the circuit, as I said, if the circuit is closed and electrons are start flowing in the circuit, so definitely there will be some sort of like flow of electricity will take place. So if the electricity flow is there, and that means electric current is there, and electric current is there, so whatever devices or whatever appliance we connect, it will start working. So basically how we are getting this electricity, the thermal power plant, those generators, okay, so those are actually working in the principle of using the diesel engine. So diesel engine, they are actually rotating, and they are rotating big sort of what we can say, the air like magnets. So because of those rotation of the magnets, okay, so it is actually producing the electricity. Now those electricities are actually connected and distributed via electric grids, then your electric connections, and finally we are getting the electricity in our home. Okay, so lot of science is actually behind that one also. So we need to observe these activities and we should understand this concept because it should help you. So whatever these activities we have done today and the understanding that we actually collected from today's session, everything is actually available in your like NCERT textbook, and I must recommend that you should go through the NCERT textbook and do these kind of like experiments, preferably with some guardians, elders, so that you should not harm yourself. So just for your safety purpose, you involve your guardians, maybe your parents, maybe your elder brothers, maybe your teachers in your school. Do these activities. Try to understand the concept with fun. That is the main motto. Okay. So I'm not just delaying this session. I'm just stopping here. So thank you. Thank you.